Steorg video. Is power creep a thing in Wuthering Waves? This is something that I was actually very interested in, because I know a lot of people think that Jinhsi is an example of power creep, but I would actually like to see how he represents it before I go in. You know what? I will say this. I do think while Jinhsi does do an absurd amount of damage, the amount of time that's required to do that damage consistently is kind of a lot. And you have to play a lot more difficultly during bosses in order to get the four-port combos out. And okay, obviously you don't have the intro skill. It is a lot of work to do. So while her damage numbers may be higher, I do wonder how much better people think that she is. Maybe I'm completely missing it, and maybe she's much more powerful than I assume, but I do think doing damage as Kelcharo and Yinlin is much easier, and they require much less on-field time. Jinhsi requires so much on-field time, it's ridiculous. That being said, I think she's very good. She's definitely the best character in the game, but I don't know if it's by that much. Maybe it is a much more considerable margin. Because I don't even know, is she that much stronger than Jiyan? Because Jiyan just beats the game auto. He just parries everything. Kelcharo needs tons of on-screen time to do damage. Really? Because the way that I use mine, he really doesn't. Am I nuts? She's not. It gets boring to use. She's better. She nukes everything. Now you can swap, cancel her skills. Okay, maybe I'm just playing her bad. Let's keep watching this.
Since we got Jinhsi and we know the kit of Shangli, a lot of people were talking about the power creep in Wuthering Waves and how Jinhsi is so powerful. Okay. So today we want to know if this actually exists. Is the game having some power creep? And the main two characters that we're going to talk about are Jiyan and Jinhsi. And
I would like also to say I'm not entirely against power creep. Now, I do prefer power creep in terms of animations and aesthetics, and I wish it didn't have to be game state. However, it's usually both. And the reason why I don't mind power creep, and I've kind of just like gotten over it as much as I can, is due to the fact that it's actually very good for attracting new players. Because for gacha games, when you start it up and you hear, okay, well, you have to get this character, but they've already passed, they're not in the game anymore, or there's a much lower chance, or wait for these banners, versus, yeah, just get on and get the new unit and you're good to go. Yeah, there's pros and there's cons to power creep. Power creep is very good for new players. It's very bad for veteran players. So that's why they do it.
Hey guys, do you need a new computer? Of course you do. In that case, you need to check out Starforge Systems. Not only does Starforge Systems make the best PCs in the universe, but it has my own personal seal of approval. They have 6 awesome computers ranging from entry level to the top of the line streaming PCs, so you can find the perfect computer for you. Not only that, but their 2-year full parts and labor warranty can put you at ease when buying your new computer. Head to starforgesystems.com today and get the computer that you deserve.
A lot of people don't like to see a lot of graphs and numbers, so I want to make this video as fast and as short as possible.
That being said, it also does keep the gameplay kind of fresh when a new meta unit's used for people who enjoy meta units. So it's a very hard subject to actually determine, is power creep inherently net negative or is it a net positive? It's very interesting.
Just to give you how it works. So to start off, let me say this. Jinhsi is more powerful than Jiyan. This is undebatable. The character...
Really? Why is that?
Does more damage in less time. And you can say that she can do 5% more damage half the time. So we can say that she does 10% more damage, which is...
I can understand that argument, but does she have an auto parry like Jiyan does? Because Jiyan, you don't even have to fucking think. Like, does she auto parry? Because I was using her and she was not auto parrying. It's in her E kit. Because like Jiyan can just auto parry by spamming left click. Kinda, I think on stage 3. She's very easy to parry with. Yeah, but would we, okay, how about this? How about this question? Is Jiyan's ability to parry easier than Jinhsi's? Yes. Okay, then great. So then maybe Jinhsi power creeps Jiyan in terms of damage, but does not power creep Jiyan in terms of comfortability of play. Maybe, but we'll see.
A good number. So she's not really a big power creep for Jiyan. She doesn't blow him out of the game because Jiyan also has something else that Jinhsi doesn't have, which is the power of brain dead gameplay.
Okay, so we talk about it. Great. Okay, I'm glad we're all on the same page. Yeah, absolutely.
And the Onga...
You could play this game blindfolded when you're in Jiyan's ult.
Bonga counters. Jinhsi requires you to play on a faster rotations to get some stacks and things like that. All you have to do with Jiyan when you press the ult is just click left click once and you're going to have so much free counters. So this is 1 point for Jiyan. Another thing is how good is he in grouping. So Jinhsi is good at grouping, by the way. This character is very good at grouping, but still not better than Jiyan. So now if we look at it, Jinhsi does more damage in less time. So if you want to do damage as Jiyan, Jiyan is going to be a little slow at the start. But then he's gonna pick up and make the same amount of damage as Jinhsi, but he will need more seconds to do all of that, while Jinhsi will be already ending all of her rotation. But he's better at grouping and way easier to play. But now if we compare both teams, the Jinhsi team is crazy good. It's way more powerful, and that's because of Yinlin. Yinlin is a very powerful character, and if we put
I still don't get why Yinlin works so well with Jinhsi.
two characters that are limited, probably the best support for now, or the best sub DPS with Jinhsi now, you know, compared to Mortefi, there's no comparison. And keep in mind, these calculations are in the current Tower of Adversity, and the problem with this is that this Tower of Adversity is good for Jinhsi. So with all of that said, this explains why I told people who already got Jiyan and don't have a lot of posts to go for Shangli instead of Jinhsi, and people who got Yinlin to go for Jinhsi easily. But if we look at it now, this is only 1.0. So I would say that Kuro passed the test of power creep. This is good. This balance doesn't look bad. Also, Shangli looks like the same thing. I cannot confirm Shangli is not a huge power creep, but as far as I see, she's not even way powerful than Jinhsi. She can even have a little less damage output. So 1.1 looks like a success in terms
I've been told Shangli was a sub DPS, not a main DPS.
of balance. But if we keep going with 10%, 10%, 10% in every single update, in 1 year from now, we will have new characters that are way, way more powerful. But
which is usually how it goes, with the odd exception every now and then. But that's because they also scale up the difficulty of the mobs in order to make people feel like they need to play more and spend more.
This will only be a problem if the content gets harder,
which it will,
the more we progress, because then they will have to add supports that do buff the older characters, or new sets that buff the older characters, or we will have the same Honkai Star Rail experience, which new characters are way better. If you get them, the game is way easier. But if the content in Wuthering Waves will have the same difficulty, I don't think this will cause a lot of problems to players, especially holograms and other modes. The only problem will be the Tower of Adversity modes, and we might get more modes in the future that requires stats more than skills. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when it starts getting very depressing. When a mob starts to feel more like a bullet sponge versus a interactable creature, things and games get very, very, very boring. And Genshin Impact went down that route a very long time ago. It is incredibly frustrating when I have to do the same combo on a mob over 15 fucking times to fucking kill it. That's why I believe HP bars should remain the same. However, the frequency of attacks and the damage the attacks do should increase in order to go higher with players' skill rather than how much money they spent or how lucky they got. However, there is a healthy middle ground.
Kuro games have to be careful about this in the future, and I hope they are, but other than that, 1.1, there's no power creep in the game. Everything is good for now. If you have Jiyan, you didn't lose the game. Jiyan is
True.
still very, very, very good. Anyway, if you don't subscribe now, you're gonna lose your 50-50. Bye-bye.
Banger fucking outro, bro. Banger fucking outro. It's kind of the same thing with Honkai Star Rail. That's why it's been so frustrating for me. Is because sometimes it just feels very overwhelming how much... It's not impossible, but it's certainly much harder when you don't have the new unit and the new buffs are like, this one really buffs break effect. And if you don't have break effect, good luck. It's just like, oh, God, no, please. Have the buffs be more universal, please. God, holy fuck, it's so frustrating. Wait, top comment on that video? What is it? I have been contacted by a great theory crafter that can clarify one thing. The longer the rotation, the better Jinhsi's team becomes. That makes sense as Jiyan takes more time in his rotation. So if it's true that the first rotation only does 5%, but can get to 30%, the point of the video doesn't change, but it's worth noting. Chisha still solos. No. Yeah, no, she doesn't. Okay, anyways, like, comment, subscribe, check out Steel Arc. Peace!